Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be doing the last part of body fluids and circulation, and we're just going to cover double circulation and the concept of myogenic heart and the diseases associated with the circulatory system. So let's get going. So double circulation. Now we've been hearing that mammals have double circulation because they have a four-chambered heart. Now what exactly are these two circulations taking place? So I have a diagram here for your reference. There are two kinds of circulation that takes place in a mammalian heart because we have four chambers. The first one is pulmonary and second one is systemic. Okay, pulmonary, see, pulmo is always related to the lungs, ठीक है? तो ऐसे याद रखना, pulmonary circulation मतलब it involves the lungs and systemic circulation it involves the rest of the body. Okay, lungs are here. Now, there is exchange of gases in the lungs. Alright, so oxygenated blood, it goes to the left atrium. And from the right ventricle, deoxygenated blood goes to the lungs, it gets oxygenated, then it goes to the left atrium. So this circle of right ventricle to lungs to left atrium via the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein. See, pulmo. Yeah, so this is pulmonary artery and this is pulmonary vein. So this is the pulmonary circulation. So this is one part of the circulation, that is one of the double circulations. And the second one is systemic. So similarly, right atrium mein, so the entire body now has oxygen. It gives off the carbon dioxide and this is carried by veins, by the vena cava to the right atrium. Okay, right atrium में vena cava से जाने के बाद जो oxygenated blood it comes to the left atrium, it goes to the left ventricle and left ventricle से aorta से it goes back to the entire body. So body to left atrium to left ventricle via aorta and vena cava, this is the systemic circulation. So these are the two circulations that make up double circulation in human body. Now there are two other terms you have to learn. First is hepatic portal system. So basically हमारे intestines जो है, they're not directly connected to the heart. मतलब there is this special portal system. I already told you hepatic मतलब liver से related. So hepatic portal system मतलब all the blood that is collected from intestine, it first goes through the liver and then it moves from the vena cava to the right atrium. So that is hepatic portal system, and the third one is the coronary system. So see, heart is also a muscle. मतलब heart को भी blood चाहिए होता है to carry out its own functions. So the blood vessels that supply blood to the heart are known as coronary blood vessels, and that's a separate system which you will be learning about in NEET. Okay, so let's move to the second part of today's class, that is myogenic heart. Okay, you already know there is SA node and AV node in the heart, that the entire functioning of heart is regulated by that. But it doesn't mean that heart is completely independent of hamara brain. There is a special center in the medulla. Medulla is in the brain stem, and that is the ANS or autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system controls the activity of visceral organs or the organs which are present within the body. Okay, so autonomic nervous system has two parts. First one is parasympathetic and the second one is sympathetic. Okay, so the parasympathetic nervous system, it always looks on reducing the activity. मतलब heartbeat कम करता है. But sympathetic, it increases the activity. That is, it increases heartbeat. That I'll tell you how it works. Basically, action potential has to pass on to the entire musculature for the heart to contract, right? What sympathetic does is, वो action potential passes on at a greater rate, so the heart contracts at a greater rate and thus cardiac output increases. But parasympathetic में the action potential is passed on at a slower rate and that's why the cardiac output decreases. So there are specific receptors in our body which find out when our heart rate should increase or when it should decrease, and accordingly parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system act upon it. Also adrenal medullary hormones. Okay, the adrenal gland, it's present on the kidney and it has two parts. One is the cortex and the other is the medulla. So adrenal medulla, it produces two hormones, that is epinephrine and norepinephrine, and you already know those as adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, so these adrenaline and noradrenaline, you've always been learning कि adrenaline से हमारा पूरा, like, our heart rate increases, breathing rate increases, and we get into a system of complete alertness. So adrenaline and noradrenaline are these two hormones. They also increase the heart rate. So yeah, that is the control of heart. So we're done with this. Okay, chalo, the last part of the chapter, that is diseases related to the circulatory system. So the first one is hypertension. So you've always heard कि यार BP high है मेरा, मतलब you've heard your elders speaking in that language, right? So BP मतलब blood pressure, and I think you already know that. But anyways, hypertension में क्या होता है? Blood pressure increases. Normal blood pressure is 120 by 80. Now you'll ask me कि 120 क्या है, 80 क्या है? 120 is 120 millimeter of Hg, and millimeter of Hg is a unit of pressure. So this is the systolic pressure or pumping pressure. So जब heart systole में होता है, that is when it's contracting, the pressure of the blood vessels then will be 120 millimeter of Hg, and when it's in diastole, मतलब when it's in a relaxed state or resting, then its blood pressure will be 80. So 120 by 80 is known as the normal blood pressure for any person. But if you have hypertension, hyper मतलब हमेशा ज़्यादा, okay, then your blood pressure can be 140 by 90 or something like that, and this is unhealthy, okay, and this has to be taken care of. You'll have to tell it to the doctor कि मेरा blood pressure इतना high है, okay, and this is about blood pressure. Now let's move on to coronary artery disease. I already told you what coronary vessels are. They are the vessels that supply blood to the heart. So sometimes what happens is when we consume a really bad diet, including lots of fats, the coronary arteries, they get blocked. Okay, let me just draw an artery for you here. This is an artery. इसका normal lumen है ये. Lumen मतलब cavity. But when we, due to some cases by consuming food filled with fat or something, there is accumulation a lot of plaque here, okay? तो इससे क्या होता है? Artery का diameter becomes smaller, okay? When artery का diameter becomes smaller, obviously the amount of blood reaching the heart muscles becomes less. So this causes a lot of complications, and one of the complications which is caused by this, also this is known as atherosclerosis. Okay, or coronary artery disease. One of the complications that is caused by the accumulation of fats, calcium, cholesterol, or various other things in the arteries is angina. Angina is inadequate supply of oxygen to the heart musculature. And inadequate supply of oxygen तभी possible होता है when there is inadequate supply of blood to the heart musculature. And angina takes place as a result of coronary artery disease and many other diseases. Okay, but angina basically it can happen in people of any age, but mostly it happens in middle-aged women and men. Okay, and let's come to the last part, that is heart failure. Heart failure may you'll have to learn two other terms, that is cardiac arrest and heart attack. Okay, heart failure में क्या होता है? The heart fails the entire body. Failure, okay, it fails to supply proper blood or oxygen to the rest of the body. Okay, so it's failing in a task. That's how you remember heart failure. But this is different from heart attack and cardiac arrest. Heart failure is also known as congestive heart disease because इसमें क्या होता है? The lungs feel congested. Okay, congested मतलब in a not comfortable place. They feel like there is less oxygen, obviously, so you get all congested, and yeah. So that is heart failure, and the second one is heart attack. Let's do cardiac arrest first. Okay, cardiac arrest. So arrest से relate करो. When the heart suddenly stops beating. Okay, there is no particular reason, it just stops beating. So cardiac arrest, arrested matlab it's arrested in that particular situation. So cardiac arrest is when the heart suddenly stops beating, and heart attack is when one of the heart muscle suddenly stops functioning because there can be various reasons. Oxygen isn't going to that particular heart musculature at that point. So basically one of the heart muscles, it suddenly stops functioning, and that is heart attack. So there are three parts of heart failure, that is normal heart failure, cardiac arrest and heart attack. These are the three things you have to learn. And yes, we're done with body fluids and circulation. Let me just summarize what all we've done until now. So in the first lesson, we finished the composition of blood. Then we finished blood grouping, then lymph, then the kinds of circulations, then the anatomy of heart, then the cardiac cycle, electrocardiogram, electrocardiograph. Today we finished double circulation, myogenic heart, and the diseases associated with the heart system. So I'll just tell you the basic diagrams you have to learn in this. Okay, this is not a diagram, but you'll have to remember the table for blood circulation. You don't really have to remember it. Once you get the logic, yaad ho jayega, theek hai? And the heart ka diagram, they've never really asked it in any boards, but you'll have to remember it for labeling purposes and also for NEET. And those are the two diagrams you have to remember. And yeah, just go through NCERT, read every single line of it, and I think I'll be making a video on how to read NCERT properly. So yeah, check that out soon. See you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.